Good morning, students. We'll be reading 166 to 180 of 33 minutes while you're in class. 1. Fight, fight, fight. You'd think with a real fire nearby, with about 20 emergency vehicles parked outside our school, with a news truck or two having probably shown up by now, and with a 3-car pileup tossed into the mix for good measure, my fellow Vikings wouldn't be so interested in what everyone knows will not be much of a fight. Fight, fight, fight! But maybe the lopsided nature of this matchup actually explains everyone's enthusiasm. Maybe they'd all be chanting, Sam's totally going to get his butt kicked. It's not even going to be close. Sam's totally going to get his butt kicked. It's not even going to be close. Sam's totally going to be getting his butt kicked. It's not even going to be close. If that were the kind of thing that made for a good chant. But of course, it doesn't. So instead, the old standby, fight, fight, fight. A large circle with about twice as much empty space inside it as the one I was at the center of not long ago, has formed around us. Chris, looking as happy as I've ever seen him, stands behind Morgan, egging him on. Morgan is bouncing up and down a little, doing strange things with his hands, which are pretty much fists at this point. Either he's not entirely sure he wants to do this, or he simply can't decide exactly how to start hurting me. I'm really hoping it's the first of those two. As for me, I'm quickly reviewing my knowledge of self-defense, only to realize all I can come up with is X minus A down, which, yes, is how you assume a defensive stance in Alien Wars. Unfortunately, my knowledge of fighting, until this moment, has been exclusively virtual and two-dimensional. Welcome to the real three-dimensional world, Sam. Fight, fight, fight. Morgan comes towards me. I close my eyes and feel 2 hands hit my chest as I'm launched backwards through the air. When I open my eyes, I discover I'm no longer standing. Come on, get up, Morgan orders me. I'm really not trying to make him any angrier, but sometimes I just can't help myself. You forgot to say please. But rather than correct himself, Morgan instead demonstrates his good manners by coming over and yanking me up. An awfully generous act on his part, if you can ignore the fact that he's helping me up just so that he can put me back down again. Fight! 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 Come on, Sam. Morgan holds his fist up but doesn't move. Come on what? I'm not being sarcastic. I really don't know what he could possibly want from me, other than staying somewhere inside our circle of ex-friendship so I can provide his punches with a good target. For some reason, Morgan lowers his hands. Take your best shot. Yeah, Chris screams with glee. Let little Sammy boy have a chance. And I actually think about it for a moment. I close my right hand into a fist and take a step towards Morgan, but then something stops me. Something other than me knowing what my pathetic punch won't do a thing to Morgan anyways. I really don't want to punch him. I just don't. So I stand there, hands at my sides. Fight! 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 By the way, this seems like a good a time as any to mention that I am now a big fan of homeschooling. Morgan says, "Come on," takes a step closer and relaunches me across the sports field. I meet the grass with more force this time, and I can't say it feels good. Now I'm actually a little mad. I look up and see Amy, whose feet I've just crash landed. Judging by her horrified expression, I'd say she can't help but root for the losing team, which doesn't make me feel all that much better right now. She bends over and tries to help me up. Sam, you've got to do something. I stumble getting up because I can't even do that right. Any suggestions? But she just backs up a bit and makes one of those don't ask me faces. Amy, I say as I wipe some of the grass and dirt off my uniform. I really don't want to sound prejudiced here, but do you know karate or something? But here's Morgan, always ready with a helping hand, dragging me back into Happy Land. Amy, thankfully not offended, is pointing at something. What? I yell to her. She twists her face and keeps pointing to something around waist level, unable to say whatever she's thinking. What? I yell again. Fight, fight, fight. Kick him in the... she says, and now I understand what she's pointing at. Right, of course, my only chance. True, I don't want to punch him, but kicking is another matter altogether. Morgan is back in his stance, waiting for me. Chris is drooling and/or foaming at the mouth. My fellow Vikings seem not to be having much difficulty choosing between the sacrifice of their MVAT, most valuable arithmetitan, on the one hand, and a chance to see an unequal fistfight play itself out on the other. Meanwhile, our school is, last I checked, on fire. Whatever was popping continues to pop. A new sound from directly overhead alerts me to the fact that the pilot of Channel 2 News Chopper might also have the pleasure of watching me get beat up. Who knows? If the fire is already under control, they might even film us. What a way to make the 6 o'clock news. With exactly one good idea to my name in this situation, I let out what I believe is a pretty solid battle cry. Something along the lines of, "Yeah!" Rush towards Morgan, close my eyes, plant my left foot, and kick hard with my right as I picture him grasping a certain very sensitive region in agony. And it says under here, 7th Grader of Steel, a substance-by-substance guide to Morgan Schwartz. Marble jaw, rock head, concrete chest, steel stomach, mini bowling ball fists, shins of titanium. I'll show it to you one more time. But this is real life, so why would my foot perform better than normal? I miscalculate my blow entirely, hit his upper shin, and I'm 99% certain break between 3 and 5 bones in the top of my foot. Ow! That's me, by the way. Morgan rubs his lower leg like a small dog just softly bumped into it, while I hop up and down on my left foot, wishing our PE uniforms came with steel-toed boots. Of course, the sympathy-free circle of Vikings finds all this hilarious. No one ever laughs at my jokes in class, but this, lol. I set my bad foot down as another idea comes to me. I run, limp at Morgan, because if I hug him, maybe he'll remember we used to be friends. Or maybe at least he'll have a harder time putting everything he's got into his punches. The crowd screams in approval, but soon I find myself on the business end of a really impressive headlock. He's squeezing the sides of my precious brain quite hard, and all I can think is, not Tootsie, anywhere but Tootsie. Kidneys fine, liver, no problem. Just leave alone poor Tootsie. And you might think I'm biased here, seeing how Morgan is trying to beat me up and all. But trust me when I say that he really ought to consider switching brands of deodorant, assuming he's using any in the first place. He starts whispering something angrily. Why did you write I'm stupid? And then an extra squeeze. Why? I'm sorry. The most honest, sincere thing I've ever said in my entire life, by the way. I'm really sorry. More whispering. Why did you tell Mr. Greggs I used to cheat off you? What? I think I heard him right, but this makes no sense. I never said that. Why did you tell Emma Jacobs I think she's ugly? Now he's really mad. Or really madder. What? I do not like where this conversation seems to be headed. I didn't. And why did you tell Keith Lopez that I think he sucks as quarterback? Morgan does think Keith Lopez is a subpar quarterback, but no way in the world would I tell Keith this. And that's assuming Keith would even agree to listen to me in the first place. I am now more confused than terrified, and I'm extremely terrified, but somehow I'm almost comforted to know we're talking again. Okay, I'm not all. Because now I finally get it. Morgan really hates me, which is way worse than him just hitting me. I didn't say any of those things, I tell his ribcage. Liar! He squeezes harder, like I might not realize he's upset. You did! The crowd has begun to lose its patience. I'm so bad at fighting that I'm not only losing, I'm getting booed, too. Morgan releases me, pushing me back to my end of the circle. You are a liar! He points at me as he spits out this last word, while his eyes close a bit and his mouth bends down into a strange shape it made last summer when his mom screamed at him in front of me after we had a water fight in their kitchen, which I'll admit was not one of my better ideas. I'm not. I try sounding as sincere as possible, while still scanning the ground around us for holes big enough for me but too small for him. I didn't say any of those things. He's lying, Chris yells. He's a liar. In my effort to clear the air, I say something that maybe isn't so smart, but what can I do? The noises coming from every direction, combined with the look Morgan is giving me, are starting to make my tongue misfire. Speaking pretty loudly across the circle, I tell him, I only wrote that you were stupid. The crowd, first chanting, then booing, now starts laughing. I can't believe I'm thinking this, but where is Mr. Greggs when you need him? What? He says. I can't quite tell if he's heard me or not, if he's confused and furious or just furious. In that note, I know I need to concentrate here and not say the wrong thing, but it feels like sparks are shooting out of Tootsie, like my brain is about to shut down. The one you saw by accident. I just wrote that you're dumb, but only that's enough for Morgan. With a little push in the back from Chris, he heads my way and finally gives the mob what they've